All right, welcome Snowflake sports fans. It is 6:58 Eastern Standard Time on St. Patrick's Day, and I am joined by my good friend Kyle Ryan. How you doing, Kyle?
Doing well, Dan. Thanks for having me again. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. So I'm gonna start off with a coronavirus story that I have for myself because my dumbass flew for a wedding to New Orleans. So it got pretty interesting. And then we're gonna just kind of briefly talk about how it pretty much affected every major sporting league. And then we're going to dive right into NFL free agency. And we're just going to ping pong off each other.
What a
It was wild
crazy
day.
first 2 days, huh?
Right?
Oh,
Absolutely
my
insane.
goodness.
For both our teams, so Kyle, if you don't know, is a Brown fan, I'm a Bills fan, so both big things there and just all around the league. All right, so I'm just going to go into it. So I went to a wedding in New Orleans. It was beautiful small wedding, about 15 people, because my friend's father has a bad case of dementia, and that's where he lives now because he remarried us. So the stepmother lives there, so that's where they're at.
Okay. Yeah.
I loved every second of it, and do not regret going to it. Now the wedding, the problem with this wedding is just the whole coronavirus and how everyone's kind of crazy about it. So I took a bus to Boston from Hartford Friday night. Since I was flying out of Boston Saturday morning, and there was like a total of 4 people on this bus, which is incredibly weird on a Friday night, but it makes sense. Then at the airport, there were like a small number of people with masks on. I wouldn't say it was like overwhelmingly. It was like 5% or so. So I had to fly to Charlotte and then fly to New Orleans. And I thought that the flight wouldn't have a lot of people on it, but it's pretty packed. Like I had the middle seat was taken, or I was in the middle seat and I was next to 2 other people.
Oh, wow.
So and it was so the flight to New Orleans though, I had pretty much the whole row to myself, and it felt like there were like 50 people on this huge plane, like 35 rows or so. Anyway, so the wedding was technically in Covington, Louisiana, which is about an hour north of New Orleans. And it's kind of fascinating because the drive is like over a lake. It takes about like 30 minutes or so. You're just like see water. And so the plan was go to downtown NOLA, like after the wedding in a limo, and just like party up in Bourbon Street. It's gonna be like wild. The problem with that was the mayor shut down all the bars at midnight,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
ordinance came at like 9 p.m. or so. So and like none of us are looking at like the news or anything because we're just enjoying each other's companies like as we should and just kind of letting the alcohol flow.
Right.
So we get around there at like 11, and it's like pretty dead. Like none of the bars some of the bars are closed already, and we're just like talking to people. It's just like like everyone shut it down at midnight. And it's just like fuck. So we go to this fried chicken place that's selling like hurricanes, like all this like big drink stuff. We just like I get a large one. Other people just like alright, we got kind of stock up. So then we go like closer to like Bourbon Street. And like what I've heard is that it's like shoulder to shoulder and it's full of people, and there's like not that at all. Like I have so much space. Like there's some like groups just like lagging around, but it's nothing that I'd like imagined from all the stories I've heard. All right, so that was like Sunday night, and then like we had flights late Monday night just to deal with our hangovers. So I texted my roommate like that I'm gonna get to Hartford around like 12:30 since I have a connected flight in Detroit. And he's like, okay, and just try to sanitize as much as possible, which I'm doing. And like I've never washed my hands more in my entire life, and just constantly getting hand sanitizer. So I'm like, bet. And then later he texts me that I have to call him over something important, and I'm just like something might be off. So we get to Detroit smoothly, another fairly empty flight where I have a whole row to myself. And I give him a ring. Just to give some context, he is like about 58 years old and works for like the Connecticut Department of Health. So like he does have some concerns. But so this guy though is just like the least straightforward person that I've ever talked with, which I vehemently hate. Just because it's like, if you don't want me to go there, tell me like in a 5-minute conversation. But I had to like talk for like 20 minutes and just like constantly ask him like, do you not want me to be there and stuff. So he's like beating around the bush about how I can't stay at the apartment tonight because I exposed myself to a ton of people and yada yada yada. Which, by the way, I totally understand.
Yeah, of course.
Because like I knew
Yeah.
doing this, and so it's not too much of a problem. The problem was that like my girlfriend had a planned procedure to remove her gallbladder on Thursday, so I couldn't go to her apartment. So like I call my aunt who lives, Aunt Dina, by the way, who I think listens to this podcast, so shout out. So she lives in like New Fairfield out in Western Connecticut. So I call her just to say, and this is like 10-ish or so. It's like, hey, can I stay there? And she's like half awake, and I'm just like, of course, just call me when you get close. And then 5 minutes later, my cousin Brad calls me, who comes out of the show pretty regularly, and he says I can't go there because my uncle's parents, so like not blood related grandparents, like live with them, and they're like in their 80s and mid 70s. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So he says like just book a hotel and my aunt will cover it, and I'm just like, I can pay for itself. I'm a grown adult. I can do things. But they insisted that we agree to split it. So I was just like, okay, cool. So at this point in the whole thing, because like I can't stay with my girlfriend, I can't stay with my aunt. Like I'm not gonna run up a hotel bill because I'm already working from home. So the plan is to drive to Albany, where my friend and her newly wed husband, who, by the way, Kelsey and Connor O'Sullivan, I don't know if they listen, but if they do, great people. And I was just going to drive there because, like, if they got it, I got it. If I got it, they got it. So it's like, it's no big deal.
Right.
So I get a lift to my apartment, pack up some clothes and, like, food while sanitizing the shit out of the apartment with, like, disinfectant spray and whatnot. So I get to the little hotel around like 1:40 and just like pass out because it was like right down the street from my apartment. It was like a Quality Inn or something. So in the morning, so like I worked in the defense industry, so like I had the plan of like working from home, but I can't VPN like on the hotel because it's like an open network and that's like the most easily hacked network.
Of course.
So I like had to call my manager and basically tell him this situation, and then. But basically and like at this point I'm like just gonna drive to Albany like later in the day and then just start working from there like in the afternoon. But luckily my girlfriend's surgery gets canceled, so that's where I am right now, and I'll probably be here for the next 2 weeks. That's pretty much the whole thing. How was your weekend?
It was interesting. So I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about it, I don't know. I don't want to say I was insensitive because that's kind of. But for those of you that saw my Facebook post about Rudy Gobert, I didn't mean it in that way. It came out as I said his dirty French hands, and it came out like kind of racist and super insensitive. And for that, I apologize. I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I honestly didn't. I just thought social media was kind of blowing it up more than they, kind of like they do everything else. But then I, heard more about it, started doing a little bit of research. Trump is on TV, and again, and I have different feelings about Trump than a lot of people, but I think the guy's an idiot, and I don't listen to much of what he has to say. But what he did say on TV made me worried a little bit. And then, of course, sports and everything got canceled. And as you know, Dan, that just doesn't happen. Like people come together for sports. They enjoy sports. For example, like March Madness, even people that don't pay attention to sports, they enjoy March Madness. So once I realized that was getting canceled, and again, reading the news or watching the news, reading articles, stuff like that, I realized, oh crap, this is a big deal. My girlfriend and I were to celebrate our 3 years on Saturday, and I got thank you. I got a hotel room and everything for us, but I ended up canceling that just to be on the safe side because, God forbid anyone who had it was in contact with or in the hotel room in contact with the bed and all that. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to take any chances. So we just basically stayed inside the entire weekend and quarantined ourselves. And for those of you that don't know me that well, or for those of you that have heard this podcast now, this is, I think, my third time.
Third
Either
time.
way, you guys know my obsession with sports. So for me to be quarantined for an entire weekend with no sports on TV, I was going crazy. Not gonna lie, like I was playing a lot of video games, trying to take my mind off it. I even turned on 2K, but then didn't touch anything and waited till a demo popped up and sat there and literally watched the entire demo. Like I was so bored, I had nothing to do, and it was just so. Honestly, it was scary. It was awful, and it was just nothing I've ever seen before in my life. Like I remember, swine flu. And by the way, somebody mentioned to me that was like 10 years ago already. That feels like it was like 3 or 4. But anyways, people were, freaking out about that. And again, rightfully so. Back then, that was 10 years ago. I was just going into college. Like I didn't care. I didn't have a care in the world. I'm swine flu, whatever. I was very, very insensitive about that. And now that I've done more research about this and I see, again, sports are shutting down. Like that didn't even happen for the swine flu. When that happens, shit is real. So I've just kind of taken it with a grain of salt and just kind of, quarantine myself with my girlfriend. I mean, I still go to work every day. My boss, we're not going to close. Not many people in our office can work from home. So our office is pretty much going to be open unless somebody in our office, comes across coronavirus. Our office isn't closed. And so outside of work, I'm not doing anything but sitting at home and just quarantining myself. Yep, gotcha. That's it.
So basically, so I pretty much got an exemption because like Friday during the day, I'm just like, hey, like I'm flying, so like can I work from home? And it works kind of perfectly because basically I'm just doing training, like online training. So it's just like, just go watch those videos and like we'll reassess like.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess I was just gonna zag because I felt like everyone like shat on Gobert for like touching the mic and like. Just like kind of
like I know
he didn't know he was doing that though, or he didn't know he had the virus. He was just trying to make light of the situation. Like I feel like everyone's jumping on him and just like saying he's never gonna play an NBA game again.
Wait,
it's just like
now really I didn't hear that. Now I will say like I was one of those people like I'm like really Rudy Gobert, like you're the reason why I can't watch basketball. And again, at first super insensitive about it, but people are saying I didn't hear that really.
So I don't think it's true. This is just like stupid Twitter stuff I see where they're just like, oh, he's never going to play again. He started this, blah, blah, blah. But like, so he played by Raptors like the game before. I'm pretty sure no one on the Raptors have it.
Yeah, they tested him and everything,
Yeah, and then so...
And only one person on the Jazz does.
Right, and supposedly he was like in the locker room touching everyone's bags and stuff, like making jokes about it. So the fact that only one came out... But, like, Woj tweeted out today that, like, 4 Nets players has it.
Including KD.
So. Wait, really?
Yep. KD has it.
I didn't even know that.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense, because there's a picture. I saw a picture on Twitter where it was, like, KD's about to, like, high five, and Spencer Dinwiddie's just, like not going to give it a high five. Like, it's pretty great.
I will say one other thing. I read, or I came across, I shouldn't say I read it. I came across this article where somebody even said that we should commend Rudy Gobert, and Rudy Gobert could have saved some lives just by getting the virus and like making it known. Because if you think about it, Dan, nobody really canceled sports. Everything was still going on. March Madness was still going on, and then Rudy Gobert was found out he had it. So then the NBA is like, oh crap, all right, cancel or suspend the season, and then all of a sudden NCAA suspends their season and MLB and NHL. You know what I mean? Like it was just a domino effect. So some guy, I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote the article. So for that I apologize. But anyways, he said that you could argue he saved some lives. I don't know if I agree with the article. I don't know if I'd say that, but I mean, he raised a good argument. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like that's, at least for me, that's when it turned. But I was like, oh shit, this is serious. Like, because like you said, the NBA canceled and the NCAA. I think the NHL was like they played Thursday and then didn't play Friday.
Well, the Big East tournament stopped halfway through at halftime.
Right. Oh wow.
It was Creighton Creighton was losing to I forgot who they were losing to. Anyways, it was like 38-36 halftime. Fans are still sitting there waiting for the game to start. They come out and say game's been canceled. Wow. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's wild. Also, I just want to just apologize, or I guess sorry for your loss, because you took off Thursday, Friday, right, to like watch March
Well,
Madness, and
I
then
took off
right.
because I was supposed to go to Texas for my grandma and grandpa. But yeah,
Oh,
but that
gotcha.
was yeah. So I yeah. Now there's nothing to. Well, I mean there's nothing to do because I'm not traveling. I'm not doing anything now. So I
Yeah,
yeah, I might just go back and work. Save the 2 days.
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm pretty sure we covered that, and so we're gonna just dive into NFL free agency. And since I pretty much had that, so what we're gonna do is we're just kind of ping pong off each other with the most important stories, because I don't think we can get to everything in
Oh
roughly
no, there's
45
no way we
minutes.
can get to everything.
Um,
And I'll just say that I'm just so happy that the NFL season wasn't delayed because like that's the season I love. I look forward to the most. So, but
yeah,
it's still early. I mean, I know the draft's going on. They say just with no fans, which won't be the same. But just taking it day by day. So we'll see.
yeah, exactly. So, what was the biggest, I guess, shock that you got today?
Shock or because
Yeah.
shock is for me Tom Brady leaving the Patriots. I did not think he was going to leave. I really truly didn't. When they first lost in January, I thought, you know what, if he does leave, I thought he'd go to the Chargers. I thought, LA, new stadium. He's not from LA, but he's from San Francisco, in California, whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? No. No way he's going to leave the Patriots. And then to come to find out today he's going to Tampa Bay, that shocked me. Just him leaving, not necessarily him going to Tampa Bay. That to me makes a lot of sense. They have two top 12 receivers. They have Bruce Arians, who's a fantastic coach, and what he did with Carson Palmer when Carson Palmer was old. He wasn't 43. He was, I think, 34 or 35, whatever. But Carson Palmer had some of his best years with BA. So, football standpoint, it makes sense. But him leaving the Patriots and just not being there after 20 years, that's the most shocking to me, certainly.
Yeah, for sure. I guess then, so you were saying like like I said like this was the most shocking. I guess what did you think was like the most important or just um
No,
yeah like the high
yeah,
story
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
I look at just today or the whole thing because in general,
like the 2 days I guess so
it's
Sunday
been
and
great, dude. The greatest
today.
thing is the Cardinals. I mean, they got so
Yeah.
much better. Listen, I I get like from a GM perspective, or whatever. Like the Texans don't have any draft picks. And they got the third, I think, this 37th pick, I think it is, which is like basically in this draft with how many good players they have. They say, especially receivers, they say this is one of the best years to draft a receiver. And they just got rid of Hopkins, so there's it's basically a first round pick. But if you look at it, it's not. It's a second round pick for, in my opinion, the best receiver in the league. I'm just confused. Hayden Hurst is a tight end for the Ravens, just got traded to the Falcons for a second round pick. Like they both got traded for a second. It's just so confusing to me, and it just makes me. The Cardinals got it like stolen in my opinion, and that division is going to be awesome to watch.
Oh yeah, that team is gonna be awesome
Fun,
to watch
yeah.
because
Oh my god.
Kyler Murray, who was like they had Kirk, right? I feel like their wide receivers weren't that
Christian
great,
Kirk, and they have Larry
right?
Fitzgerald, but now he has Larry Fitzgerald
Oh right, yeah yeah.
and
How could I
DeAndre
forget?
Hopkins. Like, is the ball ever going to touch the ground with those two on your
No,
team? I don't
never.
think so. Yeah, God, he's just going to be.
Especially with who's their coach? Kingsbury.
Yeah. Oh my
Like,
goodness,
yeah, he's gonna toss like 60 times a game or something.
that was huge.
All right, so
But let me.
yeah.
Sorry, you first. Yep, we got ping pong. You go.
No, you finish because I'm gonna go back to Brady. Or
Well,
just give
I
my
just think that was
opinion
the
on that.
most important. I also think the Bills was also very important. They
Oh
gave
yeah,
up a lot, and in my opinion, they needed more of a bigger receiver, like a DeAndre Hopkins. But they got a number one receiver, and they got somebody who runs great routes. He gets open, and that's what Josh Allen needs. Josh Allen isn't always the most accurate quarterback, and now he has somebody that gets open. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to necessarily throw them open, and I think it's going to work wonders for them. So that, on top of both wide receiver trades, I think were the most important.
yeah yeah. All right, just cycle back to Tom Brady. So like, I think you nailed it on the head that like it makes football sense to go to the Bucks. I just don't get it. Like you're going to Tampa Bay. So when I was just thinking of this, like if he leaves New England, he's leaving it for like his family, like kind of like how LeBron did, how he's going to LA so that like his son could play at Sierra Canyon and he can like go to games while staying in LA and stuff. Like that's what I thought Brady was gonna do with like Giselle, and like Giselle could do stuff in LA and whatnot. So that just made sense to me. And like they have Keenan Allen, like they tagged Hunter Henry, so it's like they have options too.
Yeah.
And that's just where I thought he was gonna go, and then he signs the Bucks. But I was with you too. I thought they were just gonna sign with the Pats, like they were just gonna fork up the money. I actually think they made the good call though. Like he is 43. Like you don't want to shell that much money for him. And I think the Pats are really just gonna like wait it out and see what quarterbacks get like their money and which ones are kind of waiting, and see if like they can get like an Andy Dalton, or I don't know, just like maybe they'll just draft someone.
That's a good one, Andy Dalton.
So yeah. And then the DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, and a 2020 second round pick and a 2021 fourth round pick. It's just like, so I listen to a lot of like Ringer NFL show stuff, and I forget who it was, but the Lions like traded a really premier cornerback or safety last year to the Seahawks for like nothing, and like a
Quandre Diggs
of what they want to make.
Quandre Diggs, yeah. And like a point they want to make is like there should be either the commissioner or like some third party like outside consultant that comes in and says like, hey, this trade is awful, you can't do that, like you have to give like other trades for. They do that in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
David Stern with the Chris Paul, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know, but like also they're adults, so like you should be able to, you know, be a dumbass if you want to. So I just always torn about it. But like I feel like just this trade is just like, oh my god, because like the Texans, they have a terrible offensive line. Like good job you got Tunsil, but like that's it. So David Johnson, who's like aging, and I'm pretty sure he's on the wrong side of 30. And then you just gave up like DeAndre Hopkins, who I think Michael Thomas is better, but like he's at least 2.
Yeah,
and
I don't blame you one bit if you said so. Thomas. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh my god, like their owner needs to get a GM. This doesn't work. It only works at the Patriots. Like Bill Belichick is a fucking genius. I hate to admit that because I'm a Bills fan. It's just like, but that's the only place where this works. Like you can't just do that all the time. And like I think they, oh my god. Anyways, I thought that was awful. And then so I thought the Stephon Diggs to the Bills was like, and then they just got, I think they got 2020 first rounder, 5th rounder, and 6th rounder, and then a 2021 4th round pick. And then the Bills also got a 2020 7th round pick, which, I mean, that's basically just pretty much nothing. No offense to 7th round picks out there. Like, congrats, you got drafted. I thought it was pretty even, because, like, I felt like Brandon Beane, I don't know the Vikings GM off the top of my head, but, like, he just kept like, upping it.
Rick Spielman, yeah.
Oh, Spielman? Okay.
Yep.
I feel like he just kept upping it, and it was just like, hey, what if I give this rounder and this rounder, and like, and I think he just gave an offer they couldn't refuse. And I agree with you. I wish they had a bigger wide receiver, because it's like when you get in the red zone, who are you throwing to? Like, you just have these fast like slot guys. But like Josh Allen's numbers deep was pretty bad, and I think he helps that. Like John Brown at 2 now. He's gonna be like I think more wide open like next year than last year. So I really like it for the Bills just because now they're in like almost like a win mode, or win now mode, especially with Tom Brady leaving. Though that might help the Pats. Like the goddamn Dolphins. I guess I'll just throw them in here. Like Byron Jones and I think Kyle Van Noy they added with their cap space. I was just like, ooh, like. They're doing good. Like so, I feel like they're gonna up their talent.
I
like,
thought the same thing. I thought the same exact thing. Yeah. The Dolphins have been killing it. I know that at least on paper. Obviously, you know we don't know how it's going to turn out, but I thought so too. I mean, paying Eric Flowers that much money was maybe a little a little too much. But I mean, better than anyone they had last year. So, I think
Yeah.
they did great. I agree with you there.
Yeah. And then so like the Jets, right? I think they were 6-2 at the final 8 games of the season, and like say if Darnold didn't have like mono, maybe that's like a playoff team. Like they're good. They have C.J. Mosley. Like they got talent on that team. So it's like they had to improve, and I just love this move because it's like it's kind of ballsy. Like this could work, it couldn't work. They didn't just like sit back and be like, okay, let's run this back.
And that's
which I
why
feel
it's
like
good. That's why
Buffalo
it's good because
teams.
Buffalo teams normally do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why last
Yeah.
year when the Browns traded for Odell, I was thrilled about it just because they took a chance and they never take chances,
Right.
and that's what you want. So you want to see your team trying. Now, who do you think wins the AFC East then? Do you think
Ooh.
the Bills win it?
I mean, like, so my whole thing is I think I am a realistic Bills fan. I think I'm the most realistic Bills fan.
Listen, you
Like,
are very realistic. I will
everywhere.
give you that. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So before this happened, I was just like, okay, like they had a very soft schedule last year. That's why they went 10-6. They're gonna take like a back year because I'm pretty sure they play the NFC West. So like you're gonna lose the 49ers, probably the Seahawks, probably even the Cardinals now, and like you could go easily 0-4 against them. And then like the Pats are still the Pats. Like they still have an incredible secondary and the greatest
And Bill
coach of all time.
Belichick, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fifth hardest schedule, the Bills. On
Yeah.
paper, of course. Again, on paper. I
On
keep saying
paper?
that, but
Okay.
fifth hardest.
I think it's I'm still just gonna run with the Pats. I think they just figure it out or something and get like 11 wins.
I think this is my bold prediction, and I don't know. I mean, maybe this. I'm sure this is out there somewhere. I didn't hear about it. I think Cam Newton is going to go to New England. I really do.
Really?
do. Yep.
Ooh.
I think he's going to go. For some reason, I think Bill Belichick is. First of all, now that Brady's gone, let's be honest with ourselves. Bill Belichick wants to prove. You know what? He may not come out and say it, but he wants to prove I'm the reason we won. Like, Tom Brady's fantastic. He's the greatest of all time. He even said that today. He's never said that about Tom before. But I think he wants to prove it because, Belichick, he's just such a competitive guy. And he's never had someone like that. I mean, if you think about it, he went from Drew Bledsoe to Tom Brady. None of those guys are, they're not really out there running for, 500-600 yards. So I don't know. I just think they're going to get Cam Newton. For some reason, he doesn't really cost that much money considering other quarterbacks.
No, I thought, or this was a while ago. It seems like eons ago, but I heard they might be trying to get like Brissett back if this happened. Because now, I mean, Philip Rivers, I'm pretty sure signed with the Colts today. So like Jacoby Brissett is going to be, I assume, available or something like that. So I've heard Pats fans are kind of open to it, just like bringing it back and running it back. But I can see Cam Newton going there.
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it. I just feel like he might.
Yeah. And I forget who said this, but they made a good point on how like Brady like doesn't run and like basically all the quarterbacks do, and I think you kind of hit on this, but that's kind of why like N'Keal Harry couldn't really get open because it's like when they run, that's when you can kind of improvise and like that's when corners have to come down and like worry about the quarterback, and that's how you get open. So it's like if they just get like a somewhat mobile quarterback, there's gonna be like you saw the Giants do this with fucking Daniel Jones. Like their wide receivers got more open when he was kind of moving around, so it just gives them like another element. So if they get Cam Newton, like the Pats are winning this again, like the 12th straight AFC title, East title, or something. So I guess Phil Rivers to the Colts. Yay, nay?
Philip Rivers
Neither?
to the Colts. I don't know. My friend, my buddy Ryan is a big Colts fan, and I always give him crap because, I'm a Browns fan, and I've never had a good quarterback, and he was blessed with two good ones back to back, and now he's got, in my opinion, a terrible one in Jacoby Brissett, and now they get Philip Rivers, who just threw like a lot of interceptions and just seems to be like he's got nothing left in the tank. So I always give Ryan crap for it, and I think it's really funny. But I'd actually, again, from a football standpoint, it makes sense. He's familiar with the system. Frank Reich was his former offensive coordinator. Even the Colts offensive coordinator now, I think his name is like Nick Nick Casario or something. I don't.
I
Nick,
think
or
it's like
that,
some
I don't.
Italian thing, like Scario
Yes,
or
he
whatever.
is
Yeah.
the offensive coordinator, and again, he worked with Philip Rivers, so that makes sense to me. And honestly, they have a good team; they can contend now. They need a couple more pieces, but from a football standpoint, it makes sense. I don't know. I don't think Philip Rivers is very good anymore, and just to make my buddy Ryan angry, because I know he'll probably listen to this. I think it's funny. I don't know. It's funny, but from a football standpoint, it makes sense. I got a little off topic, but it does make sense to me, and I think it'll be okay for them. The Texans, Bill O'Brien's a nutcase. They're blowing that division. Tennessee. Do you trust Ryan Tannehill? Because I don't. So
Okay, let's. I'm kind of with you. Like your boy Ryan, I feel bad for you, man. Like I don't really like the signing. Like they have a good line, but I feel like they don't really need a good like quarterback per se. But like he wasn't good in the Chargers, and like you had fucking Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry for you. And I know Hunter Henry went out for like half the season, so maybe that's it. But like he's old, anyways. So okay, so now going into the Titans, I don't understand why they franchise tagged Henry and signed Tannehill. Like I thought it was going to be the other way around. Like Tannehill, you do it for a year, you see if this continues, and then you sign him to money. Where Derrick Henry is like your heart and soul of your offense. So I don't know where you
no.
I
I agree with you. Like it was confusing. I am under the belief I am the guy that does not like paying running backs. Like, listen, I love Nick Chubb. He was pretty much our entire offense last year when Baker was shitting the bed. But in 2 years, when Nick Chubb's contract is up and we've given him, 300 carries every year, times that by 4, 1,200 carries, I don't want to sign him to a big contract. That's a lot of wear and tear on his body. So I don't agree with paying Henry all that money, but I would pay him over Tannehill, certainly. I don't think Tannehill's very good. I think that he played really well last year, and I don't know, they just kind of caught a hot streak, but I don't see him making the AFC Championship again. Quite frankly, I don't even see him winning the division again. Ryan Tannehill, in my opinion, is just going to go back to the guy he was on the Dolphins, but I could be wrong.
So who do you think wins that division? The Colts?
It's hard because the Texans, as much as Bill O'Brien is a nutcase, they still have Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? They still have a pretty decent defense. They need to shore up that passing defense a little bit, but they have a pretty decent defense. I mean, their line is improving, but like you said, still needs work. They have Kenny Stills, who's still in this league a good receiver. They have Will Fuller, who when healthy is a very good receiver. He's just never healthy. So I don't know. I think I might take the Texans still, but it would not surprise me if the Colts won with Philip Rivers.
Gotcha. Okay, I can see that. The big question is if Will Fuller's
That's
ready,
the thing. Yeah,
I feel like he was like on off like this entire season. And I think it just really, I don't think they're gonna be as good because like I feel like when one wide receiver leaves your core, like it drastically changes something. So it's like, okay, Kenny Stills is now getting either doubled or like the best corner, and then Will Fuller, like you could also double him now. It's like when you have those three out there, you're just like, oh, like what do I do now?
No, good point. Good point.
But now you don't have that. All right, you want to go into the Browns because you got Austin Hooper and a bunch of other.
I have
people,
lots of things to say about the Browns. The first thing I will say is I do not like the Austin Hooper signing. We paid way too much money for him. We just made him the highest paid tight end in the league. He's been in the league 4 years, and every year he's improved. Last year he was a Pro Bowl player, and if he played all 16 games, he probably would have had 1,000 yards or certainly close to it. But to make him the highest paid tight end in the entire league, I don't agree with that, especially because we already have Njoku. And Njoku was hurt last year, and he hasn't really lived up to his potential. And I know Kevin Stefanski, the Browns' new head coach, offense coordinator for the Vikings last year, ran the most 2 tight end sets out of any team in the league. The Vikings did last year. So we'll have them both on the field. I get it. But again, to make him the highest paid tight end, to give him, I think it was $23.5 million guaranteed at signing. Sorry, I think it was $30 million guaranteed, 23.5 at signing. I'm pretty sure. Again, for somebody who has never even cracked 1,000 yards and is now being paid more than Travis Kelce, George Kittle and Zach Ertz. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
again, the two tight end set thing, the offense, he's familiar with the offense. It's like kind of like the zone scheme that Shanahan runs and the Vikings ran last year and Gary Kubiak ran, you know what I mean? And he's familiar with the system. But again, it's just, and the other thing is, we all know Odell. He's a freaking diva. He cries when he doesn't get the ball. Now he's got to fight with OBJ. Now he's got to fight with Landry. Now he's got to fight with Njoku. Now he's got to fight with Hooper. Now he's got to fight with Nick Chubb. Now he's got to most likely, because we put a second-round tender on him, Kareem Hunt. That's 5 other guys that need the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's honestly, too many weapons can be a bad thing. So I don't like the signing. The Jack Conklin signing, on the other hand, was incredible. It was awesome. We didn't even pay that much for him. He got a bunch of money. I think he also got $42 million from us, but like 30 guaranteed or whatever. But that's kind of cheaper for a right tackle in this league. You know what I mean? Tackles nowadays are getting boatloads of money. I think I read an article. He's like $5 million under the what he was projected to get. So if we can get him for 5 years projected, we front loaded his contract. So in 3 years, when Myles Garrett and Baker both need contract extensions, we don't have to worry about money because we can get rid of, him, and also we can get rid of Austin Hooper, both of them, if they don't perform up to standard. So I thought that was a steal. And I like Case Keenum as a backup quarterback, personally. My friends are giving me crap because they like to give me crap about Baker, say he sucks and all this. And they said Keenum's going to start by week 8. But that's not true. But he's a great backup. $6 million for a backup, kind of steep. But he, in my opinion, is one of the better backups in the league. And the last year he was with Kevin Stefanski, or the Vikings. They went to the NFC Championship. That was the year Minnesota Miracle, when Case Keenum was statistically one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So I really like that signing. That's all we've done. And now the rest of the offseason outside of the draft is probably going to be pretty boring for the Browns. But it's okay. They were aggressive where they needed to be. And I know it doesn't seem like we're in win now because we're the Browns and we stink all the time. But we are in win now mode. We can't afford to go through another coach and another regime change, and we can't afford to, we have so many talented guys. We can't afford to waste that talent, especially with a quarterback that is still on a rookie contract. So I like the moves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think you pretty much nailed it again. It's just you paid too much for Hooper, right? I didn't even know that he was going to be the highest paid tight end. Of course, you can't pay him more than
the two guys in the Super
Ertz.
Bowl. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know who that right tackle is, to be honest, but I do know that Baker Mayfield ran for his life, and that was one of the highest needs that this team needed. So if he's good, then they should be set. So that's a good signing. And offensive line signings are very sneaky because it's when they hit, it's just people don't notice until you actually play the game. It's wow, look. This line is working now. And then, yeah, like you said, Case Keenum, steep price for a backup quarterback, but he's I feel like he's a top 5 backup quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
That.
I mean, like you said, though, who analyzes that, right?
Right. He's basically just he could be the bottom 10 of starting quarterbacks, or he could be an elite backup kind of thing. So, and then, I don't know if you said this, so Teddy Bridgewater is close to signing a deal with
It's official. 3 years.
It's official. Oh.
3 years, $63 million.
Damn. That was
That surprises me. Yeah, first of all,
yeah.
I don't know. I think he's good, but is he ever gonna? He's kind of like an Alex Smith. He's never gonna really be the reason why you win the games. He certainly won't be the reason why you lose the game. But and they got Cam, so now they're basically saying, Cam, you're gone, and now they're going to rebuild with a 27-year-old game manager? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, clearly I felt like they needed a quarterback. I think they were done with Cam because they brought him in and then benched him for one of the Allens. I don't think it was
Kyle.
Kyle, right? Okay. And they just needed someone new. I didn't think Bridgewater was going this high, but I mean, he did go undefeated for the Saints and pretty much like resurfaced his career. So I mean, kudos to him. And I feel like I don't know, because like Jared Goff gets paid
Oh
$30 million a
God,
year,
yeah.
so it's like it's really not terrible from a quarterback's perspective. Um, and then so I haven't looked into the actual terms of the Kirk Cousins extension, but is it like roughly the same amount of money that he's been making over?
Yeah, I think it was like a 2 year, 63 mil or something like that because
Oh, jeez.
they just wanted to they just wanted to I don't even know honestly. They just wanted to save salary cap was the reason why for this year because they were in salary cap hell up until all these trades.
Right, yeah. So, um, also team salary cap hell is the Jaguars. Who did they trade?
But they did just sign Joe Schobert, former Brown, who I
Really?
do love, and they should have never got rid of him. But that could be a whole separate topic. I won't get into that. But they did just sign him. So, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, like you, I thought they were in salary cap hell. I don't know where the heck they're finding the salary cap, but they got 5 years, 53 mil.
But so I think they traded Collis Campbell, and then they also traded, I think Boye.
Boye
Right?
and Ramsey
AJ
last
Boye.
year, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I guess it's opening up now, and like, I think because I was watching just like Get Up and all this sports this morning, and I think they're saying that like Nick Foles might be an option for the Pats. I mean, they were just throwing names out to throw names out.
Do you
But-
think that anyone in New England would allow the Super Bowl or the quarterback to beat him in the Super Bowl to be their quarterback, though?
No, that's a good point. And plus, like, he's never looked good unless he's on
I
the
know,
Eagles.
it's
so I don't
weird.
think-
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. And like, I don't think if Belichick wasn't gonna pay Tom Brady money, he's not gonna pay Foles the money that's already in his contract.
Somebody suggested, threw it out there, Jameis to the Patriots, and I thought to myself, okay, if Bill Belichick, you see how like frustrated he looks all the time. Could you imagine if he had a quarterback that threw 30 interceptions? He would, the very little hair he has left, he would yank it out of his head. I just, no, there's no way he would put up with that.
No. Absolutely not. Like, he'll just draft a quarterback.
I know,
like in the first round, see who's available, like, and just pick who's there. That's over, Jameis. Like, are you kidding me? I guess, so question, where does he go then? Do you care?
Do I care? Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, put it this way. Listen, it's pretty hard for a quarterback to go on the free agent market after throwing for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, but he had 30 picks. Honestly, I thought Chicago at first, and I could still see him going there, but they swear they stand by Trubisky, but I don't believe that at all. So that would probably be my guess is Chicago, because I can't really think of another team that would need him. Somebody said Miami, but I mean, I think they're okay with Fitz and then drafting Tua. I don't know. Can you think of any other team that would even need him? I don't even.
Honestly, I don't. I feel like everyone. It's weird because like a lot of quarterbacks got hurt and then like had to play their backups, but like maybe the Steelers if they're trying to.
That's a good one. I thought the Raiders, but then they signed Mariota, so that's thrown out of the water.
Oh, did they? I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah, they signed it. The the contract details have not surfaced yet, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And mark my words, I think Marcus Mariota will be starting by week 8.
Whoa. Okay. Not a Carr fan?
No. I think Carr's good. I do. I don't think he's like great. I think he's good, and I think considering Oakland doesn't have any wide receivers, Hunter Renfrow is their best wide receiver. He did pretty good last year. I just know that Mayock, back when he was doing the draft, he ranked Mariota higher than Winston, and because he was the draft analyst on NFL Network. And John Gruden loves Mariota, and he loves quarterbacks that are in the film room nonstop working, and that's all anyone's ever talked about with Mariota. And I don't know. I just think I don't think they're happy with Carr. I think Carr's good. I don't think that he should start, but I think by week 8 he's starting. I think the Raiders, they just love him, Gruden and Mayock.
Gotcha. Okay. There's definitely tension between Gruden and Carr. I personally don't get it. I'm a big fan of Carr.
Yeah, he's good.
And I think he's good. And like you said, like he doesn't really have options. like you get rid of Cooper, and like you said, like Hunter Renfro's their best wide receiver, and he was like a fourth round pick or something. He was just a small like white dude. So like I don't know, yeah, and like I guess I'm going to Vegas, so like I don't know. I feel like the drastic change between Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill, like that just kind of shows you that Mariota didn't really have it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
will say I agree that I don't think he's very good either, and I think his confidence is shot. But he did have 5 different offensive coordinators, and he never really had the same offense. You know what I mean? Year after year. So I will say that he kind of got the short end of the stick. But I don't. I don't think he's very good anymore either.
okay, so going off that, like, why do you think he's going into another new offense? So why do you think he's gonna start?
Just
Week
because they
8?
love him. I think that's
Oh,
it.
okay.
I think that's it. They just
Yeah.
love him. Mayock, again, when he was doing the draft, he said how much he loved Mariota, and he had him ranked higher than Jameis. There wasn't many people that had him ranked higher than Jameis, because if you remember,
Yeah.
coming out of college, Jameis was like a big deal. Outside of the rape allegation, like he was clear cut number one. He's going to be the next great quarterback. You know what I mean? So he was
Yeah,
one of
for
the
sure.
few that had him number one ranked over him. I just think they love him too much to not give him a chance. And like you said, there feels like there's tension between Gruden and Carr, and I just feel like they don't believe in Carr. Every time they ask him about Derek Carr, they say, we're evaluating every position. If you have, Andy Reid's not saying that about quarterback. Oh, yeah, we're evaluating every position. No, he's saying we have Patrick Mahomes. He is incredible. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
think, I really know. They love him too much. Again, like you said, another offense. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a good move. I just think it's something they're going to do. Like, especially if they start off bad and they're moving to Vegas and they have to have a reason to sell tickets and be a big deal because now they're in Vegas. What better way than, quarterback change, maybe get the team a little motivated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Change stuff up. All right, I guess we gotta talk about them boys because they did some stuff. I guess. Do you like the tag for Dak and then sign Amari and then let Byron go? Or like what? I guess what order would you, if you were the GM, what would you do? In that
I wouldn't have
situation?
paid Zeke in the first place, at least that much money. Again, I'm a running back guy, but Zeke's their entire offense, so it made sense that they paid him. But that's in the rear view. I would have paid Dak, always pay the quarterback. But he, there's reports out there that they're arguing on, or disagreeing, I should say, on contract length. Dak wants 4 years, Cowboys want 5. You know what I mean? They have the financial length worked out. They just don't have, or the financials worked out. They just don't have the length worked out. I would have paid Prescott. You got to pay Amari though. I mean, you gave up a first round pick for him. You can't let him go. And when he came there, that offense was a lot better. So you have to pay him. So in the order, I would have gone Dak first and then probably tagged Amari personally. But they couldn't get a deal with Dak, and they needed to tag him before the deadline was up. So tagging him made sense at the time, and then signing Amari. But I would have gone Dak first personally. Letting Byron go, I think, was almost pretty much guaranteed. And he's good. I don't know if he's great. I mean, the Dolphins they made him the highest paid corner in the league. He's had 2 interceptions his entire career. Again, I know interceptions could be fool's gold. You know what I mean? Because Darrelle Revis never had like a boatload of interceptions. I'm almost positive that what's his name? The lockdown corner. Anyways, long story short, interceptions could be like deceiving, but he's got 2 in his entire life. And he's played 5 years, I think, maybe 4. So I think letting him go was smart. He knew he was going to reset the corner market. You don't want to pay him that. You got to pay everyone else. And yeah, so I would have gone Dak first.
Gotcha. That makes sense. See, I don't know why. I just really like Byron Smith. Like, I know he doesn't have those like interceptions, but I feel like whenever I'm watching him, he's pretty good lockdown corner.
He is.
And I feel like that position is almost more important than like a wide receiver. And I get like you traded a first round pick for him, so like you have to pay him, I guess, or like franchise tag him. I would have kind of wanted to see them let Amari go, but then I mean it's difficult because like if you let him go, like the offense was the best part of your team and the defense was the bad one. So why don't you change up the defense and keep the offense together?
Right.
So like, um, I thought it was smart that they almost like tagged Dak because like I know he had a great season last year, but it's the same thing about the Bills. Like they had a very soft schedule last year too, and I know he put up these gaudy stats and everything, but it's just like you're playing against like terrible defenses like half the season. Like it's not gonna happen
Oh, and I
again.
don't think Dak's that great. Don't get me wrong. I just think you can't
Yeah.
let him go. You know what I mean? It's hard to find a quarterback. Trust me. Take it from a Browns fan,
Right.
but you can't. I don't think he's that good. Good enough to be paid a lot. But I would have paid. Sorry, keep going. I would have paid him.
No, I mean that was pretty much it. And like I, I mean I know it takes a while to find like a good quarterback and whatnot. But I feel like you could, I don't know, maybe try around. Like their thing is Zeke, right? And like their offensive line. So like I don't know, just get another quarterback that's just like play action or something. Um, but then again, like if you miss out on that, it looks so bad on your team. And say Dak goes to like the Deadskins or something, and then they're awesome like in your own divisions or something. So like there's just a lot of things that can go wrong when you let a quarterback walk. So that's why you just pay them the money. Pretty much happens all the time. All right, I think that's pretty much it that I think I have. Do you have any other? Well, I guess the Bill signed Jordan Poyer. Or do you have any
Yep,
Jordan
re-signed,
Poyer,
yeah.
which I thought was sneaky good. That was $10 million, I think, a year for 2 years, so $20 million total. So I was like, okay, I fuck with that.
That means Rachel Bush gets to stay in Buffalo a little longer.
Yeah, let's go. Serious games. Yeah. All right. Do you have any other signings you liked, disliked, or trades?
I like. There was a lot of low key signings. Like the Raiders signed Corey Littleton, the linebacker. They needed a linebacker really bad. I think that's a pretty good signing. And I hate the Ravens, but the fact that they got Calais Campbell for a 5th round pick is insane. Okay, First of all. Second of all, then they signed Michael Brockers, who is a very good defensive lineman for only $10 million a year. So now I mean, how are you going to compete with Calais Campbell and Matt Judon and, Michael Brockers and, the Ravens just are notorious for defense. How are you going to deal with that? Now the Browns twice a year, like that was big to me. They just didn't let up. They didn't let the foot off the gas even after winning 14 games.
Yeah. I mean, I get Yanda retired, right? So that's gonna be pretty big for their offense. And I'm fascinated to see like year 2 of this Lamar Jackson option. Like I wonder if teams like figure this out. I'm gonna say that they don't because he was incredible and like you can't really practice against it. Like no one else has this like playbook kind of thing, and so it's it'll be fascinating to watch. But yeah, so like I think their defense will upgrade with those signings. And I don't know, it's just hard to see them not running the table. But like I don't know, your Browns are talented. The Bengals are trash. They're gonna be like nowhere. The Steelers are always kind of relevant because Mike Tomlin's a great coach. It's just one of the better organizations in the NFL. So
we got 7 playoff spots this year, though. Now, Dan, remember new CBA.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
That did go through.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
So now we'll be
okay. CBA, right? So 7 playoff teams, and now you only get 1 franchise tag. How's the tag work?
Yeah, so now you can only do 1 tag. I think you can choose between the 3 tags, I believe, but you can only do 1 tag. You can't like franchise tag and then transition tag someone. You can only choose 1 tag. I'm almost positive. And then obviously the new 7 teams each playoff, which in my opinion, even as a Browns fan, that gives us more hope. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. And now only 1 team, the number 1 seed, gets a bye. That's terrible. That means the Chiefs would have had to beat 3 teams to make the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl. Anyways, but I also like that the marijuana thing. They got rid of getting players being suspended for marijuana, and I think that's a big step.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
That's a big step
awesome.
because again, you know what I mean. Even if you're a pot smoker, you're not, like, that's a big deal. It's becoming legal, and people are getting suspended for that. But it's just something to help cure their bodies and help them perform, and play longer. It's not, you know what I mean? So for that to finally pass, I think it's fantastic, and it's going to help the league.
I think it's great. So if
Josh Gordon's probably super pissed, but whatever.
Yeah, he's just ahead of his time, I guess. If any league deserves to like smoke weed, it's NFL players. They just get hit all the time. Like they need to chillax and just like sleep for 10 hours or whatever. So oh wow, that's great. So I kind of like that the number 1 seed gets the only bye because it's like, okay, I was the best regular season team. Like I'm the only one that gets a bye. Like everyone else has to play an extra game.
Yeah, that makes
so it kind of like
sense.
Makes the race to the top like more competitive, I guess. I am not a fan of adding more teams. I guess the only good thing, like the baseball wildcard thing, was great. I thought that was super fun, just like a 1 game off thing. But I just like now it's almost like half. So like the goddamn Eagles made the playoffs at 8-8. Like I feel like that's just gonna happen more. Where it seems like 8-8, 9-7.
The Steelers would have made it last year at 8-8 if they had 7 teams. So I'm with you there.
Right. Yeah. So like that's one of the things that like college football is great, where it's like you mess up once, you're done. Like
pretty much, yeah. Unless you're Alabama.
Yeah, right. Just get biased the entire time. All right. Anything else? Or are you good?
Yeah, no, that's it. I just want to say, obviously it's your show, Dan, but I just want to say to everyone out there, just be safe with the virus and everything. Don't be touching things or people that you don't need to, and just, you don't necessarily, I'm not saying, quarantine or stay inside, whatever, but just be safe out there and don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, for sure. Wash your hands before you eat, and pretty much like all the time. Don't touch your face. I've heard that a lot. Like, just keep your hands off your face. And I've just been like really like cognizant of just like how much I touch my face. I'm just like, oh fuck. Like,
wait, I'll be honest with you. I never used to really touch my face a lot, but now I catch myself doing it more now that I'm worried about not touching it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh wait, no. So I don't know. I have the opposite effect when that happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but like it's like if you can work from home, you should. And it's really geographically right now. I mean, like, right, the situation could change like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like, it's really like if you're in Seattle, New York City, like I think San Francisco is pretty bad. Like, those are completely different situations than like Rochester or like Hartford isn't really that bad currently. So, yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. If you have any questions or comments you want to have on the show, do snowflakesportspod@gmail.com. I just want to thank Kyle again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah, have a good night.
Have a good one.